Hi, credit friends. This is Freya, and thank you so much for being here. So I am going to do a mixed media portrait on top of this. I did these videos where I did these projects from this book by Elena Hennessy, and ever since I saw this, well, I made it into a sun over here, but ever since I saw this, and I'm just drawn to it like a moth to a flame. I thought that I am going to make a face, and I'm going to keep this as the bindi in the forehead. That is the red dot that Indian women wear. And it's so symbolic and it has so much meaning, like in Indian culture and to me specifically. So I just thought, you know what? I am going to turn this into a mixed media 100-day project. And I'm going to, just make this the bindi, and I'm going to do the whole face around it. And it's going to kind of maybe be a little bit abstracted, but however it works out, it's gonna just turn out that way. But I just wanted to show you guys this over here. This is a book I purchased, and I'm gonna start to use it to write in. But I purchased it at the Musée d'Orsay, and this is a painting by a beautiful artist. His name is Kees Van Dongen, and I'll spell his name for you. It's Kees, and then it's VAN, and then another word, DONGEN. And I absolutely love his work. I was fortunate enough to see quite a few of his originals, and he's just like really, he's got these like quirky kind of art. It's so powerful. Like the paintings, they almost like move out of the the space of the painting, and they move like into real life. Okay. It's like when I am, and his paintings are huge, they're just ginormous. And when I've seen his originals, I honestly feel as if his figures are just going to step out of the painting into real life. Like it's just, he's got this like presence in his art that is so, I don't know what it is. I'm trying to kind of excuse me, like really kind of take it apart and kind of see like what it is. And for this particular lady, and I did take a full year of art history, so I had an awesome art professor, and she would teach us like how to really kind of read a painting beyond the, when you go to a museum, you look at the painting, you're drawn to a certain painting, but how to really read the painting. And one of the things that strikes me about this particular piece, which I absolutely love, by the way, is, to get into the psychological component of it, is that this painting is this woman and the painter, the painting, the painter, all of those things are not, they're not taking the audience into consideration first. So what I mean by that is like a lot of the, the portraits in the 14th, 15th, 16th century, 17th century, they were very, they were very styled. They were highly controlled. They were like the just say there was a portrait of a woman. Well, she would be dressed up to the nines, and she would be looking either directly at the viewer or, a little bit off to the side, but her face would be facing outward, and it was all very prim and proper. This over here is completely different. I mean, first of all, she's not even like looking at the viewer, so it's a side view. She's like totally unconcerned with whatever the F is going on. She doesn't care about us, the viewer. Okay, so she's just doing her own thing. So this almost has like a this is like a photograph, like as if you're taking a photograph of somebody. Now another thing is she's touching her breast. She has her hand on her breast, she's got her mouth open, so it's kind of, I don't want to say the word vulgar, but it kind of has this vulgarity to it. And then when you take into consideration like all of these, like, the colors, the outline, like it just has this like kind of like, oh, she's in a brothel type environment, she's a lady of the night, or she's a dancer, in say the Moulin Rouge or something like that. It has that kind of like showgirl quality to it. And anyways, guys, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to go into that big song and dance. But anyways, I just love his work. And if you guys do not know about him, maybe you guys want to take a look at his work. If you do know about him, then you know what I'm talking about. So anyways, let's dive into this over here. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to, now this is going to have kind of an abstract sculpted quality to it. And everything is going to be around this part over here because I want to retain that for the bindi, which is the, you know, the red dot that that women apply in the middle of their forehead. And I'm going to keep some of this, you know, because I do really love like some of the aspects. I don't think I'm going to cover up all of it, but I am going to, you know, turn this into a, like so. Okay, so this is going to be the forehead, and so then, you know, it's going to kind of go like so. And I'm glad I'm using my Stabilo so I can kind of adjust as needed. Okay, and I think for some reason I kind of maybe want her eyes to be kind of looking away. I don't know if I was influenced by that book that I just showed you where she's just looking completely away from the camera, but I kind of want that kind of like eye looking away from here. And so let's see. And okay. Now it is going to be a bit abstracted, which is totally fine. I want that. And what I'm going to do right away is I am going to kind of cover up some of the face so that I can, you know, kind of like not get confused and also build up the face. Oops. So I'm just gonna, and I've been dreaming about this, you guys, ever since I saw this, like, and I'm like, oh my God, that's gonna be the bindi, even though it is big. It is really big. But you know what? Like, yeah, maybe it's just it's just gonna be big, you know? That's the way it's gonna be. Which is why I kind of think, oh, maybe it's gonna be a bit abstracted, you know? Which is fine. So I started off my 100-day project with the mixed media portraits. I started off exploring values, and they were kind of, you know, the first 20 or 25, 30 of them were kind of sedate. What I mean by that is like they were all kind of the same. I was exploring values. So I set the, you know, the parameters for me. Hey, I'm just going to use like kind of more neutral colors. I want to explore my knowledge and use of values, etc. But of course, you know, I always keep in mind that, hey, you know, yeah, my, you know, my intentions are going to change maybe at some point. Like they might stay the same or they might not. So, I know like when I did the painting on pink paper and everything, I did a video on that. I was kind of moving like a little bit away from that neutral palette. So if I do an abstract for this, that would work perfectly, actually. And there we go. I don't know if I'm gonna keep the blue marks on there, but I am definitely gonna keep this part over here. But the blue marks, they may stay or they may go. Okay, so I'm going to cover all of this up, you guys. I'm going to keep some of the background, but I don't know what. I might keep some of the, okay, I like this blue and gold. That's kind of cool. And just a little bit more here. And I'm gonna drop some of my ink. Now I'm gonna make, this is just gonna be a part 1 because I want this to dry naturally. So I'm just gonna put some of my ink on here. And then when it dries, I'm gonna come back in and, you know, like draw over it again. But do you see what I mean? Like, oh, I just love that, you guys. So this is a good exercise that maybe you can do if you want to do like you know, say if you do a like a prompt like I did, or if you want to do something abstract and then go in over top of the abstract and, you know, now do a portrait or something. That's a good way to actually do an art journal spread. You start off with an abstract and then you work around it, and really interesting things happen, you guys. And an art journal is just a perfect place to for anything goes, you know. Okay, so I'm gonna let this dry and then I'm gonna, let's see, I'm gonna come back in when it dries and let me add a little bit here to the cheeks. But when it dries, I will come back and use my Stabilo and, you know, just maybe like refine the drawing a little bit. Just kind of, oh, that's a little bit too much there, but it's okay. Now see, I wanted her eyes to be like looking this way, so that's something I'm gonna kind of keep in mind when I come back. I don't want her eyes looking straight ahead. That's kind of important to me for some reason. I don't know why, but it was like super important. Okay. Alrighty then. So I'm gonna just leave it alone and then come back to it and work on it some more. So anyways, you guys, if you've watched all the way to the end, thank you so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.